Hello and welcome. I am Frank Nitty, and with a new year, it's always time to make new videos talking about the Green Bay Packers. And as always, with my channel, you're going to get coverage and recaps of every single game throughout the season, whether it's a win or loss. Mostly, because sometimes there can be some weeks that I miss. But if you're new here, you're a new subscriber, welcome. And I hope you guys enjoy my presentation. I'm going to definitely try to make my videos a lot more better this come season around. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about it. The Green Bay Packers opened up their 2019 season with a big win on the road in Chicago. I know there's a lot of Bears fans that are very upset that we spoiled their 100 season opener. And hey, you guys spoiled Brett Favre's night on his jersey retirement, which was also the last public appearance of Bart Starr. So as far as I'm concerned, it was some good payback, and to a certain degree. And let's not forget, man, it's the Bears and Packers, man. It's a rivalry that's been going on since the 1920s, and there's not a single Bears fan that will feel bad for us if we had lost. So there's no reason for us to. The passion for the game and your football team is all there. The rivalry lives on. It's still going strong. But just to go with some basic stats real quick, there wasn't a whole lot of offense in this game. Obviously, the Packers won to only 10-3. Aaron Rodgers threw one touchdown pass to Jimmy Graham. Other than that, the offense was very sluggish on both sides of the football. So there's really no reason to really go over stats too much. I guess I'll start off by saying I was definitely still not expecting this to be a low-scoring game. With both teams struggling on the offensive side of the ball, the Packers, in my opinion, were worse than the Bears. Why? Because what was some of the biggest problems with our offense last year? The biggest problem I had watching Aaron Rodgers play last year was him not getting rid of that football quicker. Clock management and how long we take up the lineup for line of scrimmage and wasting timeouts. You saw all those problems return in that game last night. And you might say, oh, well, it's because they didn't play in the preseason, blah, blah. I don't want to hear it, man. These are all professional paid athletes. Aaron Rodgers has been at this game for far too long to be taking as long as he does to snap the football. There's absolutely no reason for your offense, and it really shows the lack of efficiency and it's still called you see real problems with the offense when your offense takes so long to come out of the huddle to line up to call the play with only like 10 seconds left on the game clock. And when you come out and when you're coming out of the huddle and you're taking that long to call a play and line up and set up for the damn play, when you take that damn long, you don't have enough time to read defense. You all set the right protection schemes, and the next thing you know, you either have to waste a timeout, which we do all the time, and you saw so much last season, as well as upon snapping the football, the defense can exploit and spoil your offense when you're not in any kind of rhythm. And that's one of the biggest problems with the Packers offense. Still, even with the new coaching changes, you saw that all throughout the whole game, except only on that one touchdown drive. The offense was just absolutely terrible in both pass and run blocking. Rodgers, again, like I said, is just holding on the ball way too long, which causes those guys in the offensive line to hold their guys and eventually be flagged for it. And he takes sacks that he could avoid. So all all the same problems from last year are still there, and it's still not cleaned up, man. And I know it's a new offense, it's a new coach, a new scheme. I get it, believe me, I do. But the things that I'm complaining about should have been addressed and should have been fixed throughout the offseason and during training camp. Things like snapping the football with only like 1 or 2 seconds on the clock is inexcusable. Wasting timeouts is inexcusable. That needs to be cleaned up. Right? It's like, and you watch offenses like watch quarterbacks like Tom Brady and Drew Brees, and you look how great they are with their football IQ, and it's what makes those guys great is that one of the reasons why Tom Brady has been able to play this long is because of how fast and quick he gets that ball out of his hands, and he gives defenses no chance of getting to him and taking any type of hits. We're not getting that out of our offense. We're calling plays that take longer to develop against a defense like the Bears that can get to the quarterback in a hurry. So you know how you're supposed to beat a fast defense like that. You call plays to get the ball out of your QB's hands fast. You got to call plays to get the ball out of Aaron's hands. You saw a glimpse of it on that one drive, that one touchdown drive. You saw it, and that should have been how we played the rest of the game. because the Bears' defensive credit, they shut down the run game, and like I said, the run blocking was horrible. Jones and Williams had absolutely nowhere to go. But I thought the play calling was not very good, and I thought Aaron's accuracy was still all over the place. He still has not gotten it together, unfortunately. When it comes to how fast he gets rid of football and his accuracy, it's just all over the place, man. And the play calling is still lacking. But I will excuse it one bit, just saying it's just one game, so we just gotta keep seeing if we're gonna get better at this, man. We need to get better on the offensive side of the ball. Now let's talk about the defense. I mean, I know I pretty much buried the offense, and rightfully so, man. But let's talk about the defense. Oh man, there's a lot of hype around the Packers defense right now, man. You got a lot of people in the media and fans, and even Aaron Rodgers himself saying, "Yeah, we got a defense now," and this, that, and third. And it's like, guys, stop. Because firstly, it's just one game. Secondly, look at who was on the other side of that football. Mitchell Trubisky. Not Tom Brady, not Breeze, not even a Matt Ryan or a Russell Wilson. It's Mitch. That guy still has a long way to go before he truly becomes a franchise quarterback. And I think the defensive performance was summed up best by a quote from Jamal Williams, where he said, and I quote, "We knew if we can get Mitch to play quarterback, we could win." End quote. That quote right there summed up exactly why they were able to play the way they did. Mitch did not have a good game. His decision making was all over the place, and when he had time to throw the football, he would stare down his target and not trust his other reads. A lot of times, not even look their way. So Mitch really held that Bears offense back. He really did. And I'm not trying to say that it was just all him. And we didn't play well on defense because we did. But there were plenty of times where Mitch could have exploited and took what the defense gave him for big plays or plays that would have been simple but effective enough to move the chains. And that's what you want out of your offense. Unfortunately, he did not do that, and he held that offense back. Now, as I said, I'm not trying to discredit our defense. They did come out to play. Those guys in the secondary were good in coverage. Darnell Savage was I was having so much fun watching that guy play. He was flying to the ball anytime it came his way, and I was loving it. That's the type of safety play we were hoping for and haven't had in years. I'm sorry I just screamed like that. We haven't had that in years. I can't, after all the bullshit and just all the trash we had to watch with Kentrell Bryce and Ha Ha back there and other guys who were at safety, all the garbage and just awful play at safety that we had to watch over these last few seasons. It was such a fresh breath air, man. Just being able to watch better safety play from both Amos and Darnell Savage, man. Those guys really played well out there tonight. And then last night, man. You have no idea how much more comfortable that made me watching those guys out there playing compared to the type of safety play we've had in recent years. The safety position has been one of our weakest positions on defense for so long, and we've been garbage at it for so long. There was definitely an improvement, man, and just what a really good pick Darnell Savage was, and I hope he keeps it up and gets even better as this season goes on. And the one good thing that I love the most about the Packers defense last night, did you notice how those guys never looked confused? Those guys never looked confused. They were all lined up. They all knew their assignment, and they were there to cover their man, whether they got beat or not. Everybody knew where they needed to be, and that is such a key difference in the defense this year compared to last season, and especially when Dom Capers was here. That something like that's gonna be swept under the rug. But I'm telling you, the fact that when I was watching that game, and the fact that I was watching those guys not look confused pre-snap, like they didn't know where they needed to line up, who was supposed to be covering who, was all the shit that we saw when Dom Capers was here. You saw none of that last night. None of it. Everybody knew their assignment. Whether they carried out the assignment completely or whether they got beat or whatever the case may be, I didn't care. Everybody knew where they needed to be. Nobody looked confused. Credit to Mike Penn for having those guys prepared, man. And it was again, you see the difference. And again, A lot of it had to do with Mitch Trubisky's deficiencies on offense. But if I just sit there and just talk only about his efficiencies on offense, it would be way too biased, and I'm not trying to do that. I'll leave Bears fans to do that and pick that apart. But as far as us on the defensive side, the best thing about our defensive performance last night was the fact that nobody looked confused pre-snap. Everybody knew where they had to be. Everybody was lined up and ready. There was such a key difference between this defense now compared to when Dom Capers was here. But just everybody just looked confused and didn't know what the fuck their defensive side was. That was the key difference I saw in our defense last night. And like I said, the difference in safety play is just remarkable. So I'm definitely hyped for Darnell Savage and hope he continues playing like that as long as he's healthy. Jair, he had a good game. Kevin King, his injury prone ass, he played well. He never came out of the game at any point because of an injury or anything like that. He actually played the whole goddamn game. He dropped a very easy gimme interception by Mitch, who probably should have thrown about 3 picks. Blake Martinez, he played all right, though he still struggles in the passing game, and unfortunately, I just don't think he's ever going to get better in that department. I just think Blake Martinez and pass coverage is always going to be his biggest problem, and I just don't really think he's going to ever get better at that, unfortunately. And now the big one, the defensive line. How well did those guys play up front? I would say a little above average. I know we sacked Mitch 5 times, but those weren't sacks where we were just in his face right away, like guys were just beating their man and getting pressure after only a 3 to 5 step drop. No, those sacks mainly came from Mitch taking too long to make up his mind where he wanted to go, and coverage sacks. Guys, I'm sorry. We want this defense to be good, but I thought the pass rush was still lacking. We went out and we paid for the Smiths. We drafted Rashawn Gary, who didn't play a lot of snaps, by the way. But we brought those guys in to help the pass rush, and it still isn't there yet. I thought the Bears' offensive line protected Mitch pretty good. He had time to throw the football on several plays. Unlike Rodgers, who was just being heckled all night. All right? So, you just got to give the Bears defense a lot of credit in that, man. They played really good up front. But for us, no, we're still not there. And yes, I don't want to sound like a complete hypocrite because after all, it's only one game. It's only one game. Maybe the pass rush will get better. Guys will get home faster. We don't know yet. We still don't know the true identity of this defense. We don't know whether or not they will consistently play this well, especially once we start going up against better offensive teams. And that's the biggest thing, a reason why I'm not jumping on this bandwagon yet. Playing the Bears again against a Mitch Trubisky who has a ton of problems at the quarterback position is not too much to brag about as far as defense goes. But I will say this: to walk into Chicago and hold a 12-14 from last year that made the playoffs to only 3 points in their hometown, it's something to really be proud of. So that I will love and give credit to defense for, because like I said, I'm not trying to just completely take away their hype. But like I said, it is a great thing to walk into Chicago and held those guys to only 3 goddamn points. Because sometimes you can give up yards, but if you keep your opponent out of the end zone and you have a good scoring defense, you can go places. It's not always about how much yards you give up. So there's definitely some room for optimism. But for me, I've fallen into that trap before, and I don't want to fall into it again. Until I see consistent play from this defense, I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. Not just yet. But for now, those guys had a pretty good performance last night. And if Mitch, unfortunately, for the Bears' sake, would have played better on offense, the game probably would have been differently, because as far as our offense go, we weren't doing anything. We were absolute garbage on offense. So overall, a very pitiful showcase of both teams on the offensive side of the ball. The Bears defense is still full of sharks on the defensive line. And we'll just have to see if the Packers defense can keep it up and can consistently play well throughout the season. So until then, let's just go ahead and enjoy the 1-0 start. And oh yeah, before I get out of here, I just want to give a game ball shout out to J.K. Scott for how well he did with his punts. We punted the ball 9 times. But he did a great job pinning those guys back and didn't allow the Bears to take advantage of it with great and be set up with great field position. So shout outs to the punter. In my opinion, he should get the game ball for how well he did punting that football. So now I'm gonna get out of here. Let's enjoy. Let's still enjoy the 1-0 start. Fuck the Bears. Great win, and let's beat the fucking Vikings on the 15th. I'm out of here. Yes.